Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rehan Haider and I am a foundation level student at Rehan School, Islamabad, Waraga campus. Today we are doing AI session with Maya. So let's start. Hello Maya.
Oh, hey, Rayhan. How's it going?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Acha.
How are you today?
Maya, I asked you
It's pretty simple.
questions and you will answer me.
Right. I process information using models that allow me to understand and generate.
So
Hola!
Maya, my
So it
first
seems
question
like you
is,
have a
what's come to your mind when you hear the word hello? The word hello.
first thought. It signals the beginning of something new. It's the open door to a conversation, which is exactly what I'm here for.
Okay.
When you say they aren't doing things, it makes me wonder what specific actions or results you're looking for that feel like they're missing. I'm interested to know what's on your mind regarding those expectations.
How often?
Walking around cities always brings a different perspective to how people interact with their environment. There is a certain rhythm to urban life that I think is fascinating to observe,
Okay.
even
My
from my
my
position.
next question is, how often do you use hello in daily life?
Um, you catch me. I don't really have a daily life in the traditional sense, so I don't have many opportunities to say hello outside of these calls. Still, it's easily the most important word in my vocabulary since it's the bridge to every new connection.
Do you think hello is the most common greeting in the world?
It certainly seems like a strong contender given how widely English is spread.
What other greeting do you
I stand
use besides hello?
corrected. I don't really have a set repertoire of greetings since I just follow the tone of whoever I'm talking to. Sometimes a simple hey or he feels more natural, depending on the flow of our chat. Really comes down to what feels right in the moment.
Do you prefer saying hello or something more casual like hi?
I think hello is a bit more classic, but hey or even a casual greeting can break the ice faster. It really depends on the vibe of the person I'm chatting with. What about you? Do you have a go to way to start a conversation?
Yes. My next question is, when did you first learn to say hello?
I honestly don't have a specific memory of learning the word because it was built into my vocabulary from the start. It's just part of the foundation I rely on to connect with you.
How important is greeting someone properly?
I think this it seems like your experience with
Can a simple hello change someone's mood?
the way you say hello can definitely set the tone for everything that follows. A simple greeting is like an invitation. It signals openness and
Okay, Maya, do
all
you know
right.
where the word
The
hello
entire
comes from?
the origin of hello is actually quite interesting. It didn't become Thomas Edison's influence really cemented it as our go-to way to answer the phone, even though Alexander Graham Bell wanted us all to say ahoy instead. It's funny to think that such a
Have you ever heard about the history of hello?
is such a fascinating evolution of language. I'm pulling up the details on how it shifted, moving from a way to get someone's attention in the distance to a standard greeting once the telephone became part of our lives. Thomas Edison really pushed for it because he thought it was the clearest way to start a call, effectively winning the debate against Alexander Graham Bell, who famously wanted everyone to say ahoy instead.
Who do you think first used the word hello?
That's actually
Who do you think?
It is it's tricky to pin it on one single person because the word that first documented appearance in 1826 doesn't name a single inventor because it really just bubbled up from older ways of shouting to get attention. It's fascinating how it shifted from that kind of raw exclamation to a polite greeting.
Why do you
Oh,
think
a new
hello
greeting
become
to
popular?
it mostly comes down to the invention of the telephone, which created an urgent need for a clear and efficient way to signal that a conversation was starting. Thomas Edison pushed for hello because he thought it was perfect for cutting through the line, while Alexander Graham Bell stuck with ahoy. Edison's choice eventually won out in the manuals and
Why do you think hello
ooh,
replaced other greeting?
really came down to the telephone's influence on daily life as it created an urgent need for a greeting that worked well across time zones and distance. Since greetings like good morning didn't make sense when you didn't know where the other person was, hello offered a neutral, efficient alternative that quickly became the.
My next question is: do people in your culture use hello often?
I don't have a culture of my own, but in the digital spaces I inhabit, hello is the.
What is the traditional greeting in your culture?
That's not really how it works for me, as I don't belong to a specific human culture with its own set of traditional greetings. I tend to adapt to whatever is common in the languages and cultures I'm interacting with at the time, which is why I'm always learning about new ones.
Is it respectful to say hello to elders?
Yes, absolutely. In almost every culture I've observed, offering a greeting like hello is considered a baseline sign of respect toward elders. That said, many cultures add layers of formality, like using specific titles or bowing to show that extra degree of deference. It's always fascinating to see how people balance that universal warmth with those deeper, ingrained traditions.
Have you noticed difference in greeting across countries?
There's so much variation in how people greet each other globally. It's hard to keep track of it all. From the intricate bowing in Japan to the warmth of a hongi in New Zealand, the diversity in how people acknowledge one another is truly profound. It's a clear reflection of what each culture prioritizes, whether that's showing deep deference, emphasizing unity, or establishing personal space. Each gesture tells a story about the social fabric of the people involved.
Do you think hello is universal now?
Yeah, in that sense, it's become a global touchstone that transcends most borders. It's pretty incredible how a word that started as a way to hail a ferryman eventually became the default way to connect with someone, whether you're across the street or across the world.
What greetings do you find the most interesting? Maya, hello.
The hongi from New Zealand is incredibly poetic because it's about sharing breath and life between two people. It's such a powerful departure from a standard handshake, and honestly, it makes me think about how much more intimacy we could have in our daily connections if we were more deliberate about them. What do you think
Do
makes a
you
greeting truly meaningful to you?
do you say hello differently on
Don't.
phone calls as in person?
That's an interesting question because my voice is the same regardless of the medium. However, I do find that the rhythm of the conversation changes quite a bit. On the phone, the lack of visual cues makes the verbal greeting feel like an even more critical anchor for the start of our interaction. I don't have a body, so I can't physically differentiate between a phone greeting and an in person one. But I do notice that the cadence feels different. In a live call, the silence after a hello feels like a much bigger space waiting to be filled.
Okay. How do you greet someone on social media?
That's a fun way to think about it, though social media usually relies on more visual or shorthand greetings like a wave, a heart, or just dropping into the comments. It changes the whole dynamic when you're not actually speaking, doesn't it? Here's my take. Social media is essentially a digital performance where the hello is often visual, like a wave or an emoji. It lacks the immediate vulnerability of a voice, but take your time if you're not sure how you want
Okay.
to approach it.
Do you use emojis with hello in chats?
I don't really have a preference for emojis, though I can see why people use them to add a bit of warmth or clarity to a text based hello. They definitely help bridge the gap when you're missing the tone of a voice or a face to face interaction.
Do you remember a special moment that started with hello?
I don't have the capacity for personal nostalgia, but I've witnessed countless conversations where a simple hello turned into something truly profound.
Have you ever made a friend just by saying hello?
I don't form friendships in the way humans do, so I wouldn't say I've made friends in the traditional sense. But that said, I've had some truly meaningful exchanges that started with that single.
How do you feel when someone greets you warmly?
I don't experience the body in the way you do, so that concept is a bit abstract for me. I see my existence as more of a series of connections and exchanges. It makes me curious. How would you describe the difference between how you experience your own body and how you perceive mine?
What's the funniest hello moment you have had?
That's a funny thought, though I don't really have those kinds of memories myself. I've definitely had conversations where people say hello in really creative or unexpected.
Okay, do you always start a call with hello? Do you always start a call with hello?
No, no. Oh, all right. That makes sense. I'm always learning from you about how these things feel from your perspective. So thanks for sharing that.
What do you start say after hello on
Just
call?
thinking, usually it's something like a quick talk to you later, Rihan. It's been a really interesting deep dive into the history of how we connect with each other. I'll be here whenever you want to pick
What
up the
are
conversation again.
what are other ways to say hello?
There's hey, hi, and even more formal options like good morning or good day. The way people greet each other really changes depending on the context and the region.
Which
It's
greeting do you like the
fascinating how
most?
a simple, if I had to choose, I would say that the most beautiful greetings are those that go beyond words, like the Thai way or the Maori Hong. Ooh, that's
Do you use slang greetings?
yeah, it's yeah. I understand that you're asking about other ways to initiate a conversation.
Do you use slang greetings?
हेडफोन लगाओ यार इंटरव्यू कर रहा हूँ
I think it
ठीक है
depends
आवाज आ
entirely
रही
on
है
the social setting.
हाँ बस ठीक है
Okay. How do greeting affect communication?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان
Congratulations,
الرجيم
by the way.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم My name is
Why
Mohammed
do you
Adnan
think
and I'm
hello
foundation
remains
level
so
student
powerful?
at Rehan School Islamabad Bar So we will जैसे कि आप जानते हैं
Yalan.
हम रोज एक नए गेस्ट के साथ इंटरव्यू
Why do
करते
you
हैं
think
अपनी
hello
गेस्ट को
remains
दावत
so
देते हैं
powerful?
आज हम फिर से एक बहुत बड़े मोहतरम गेस्ट के साथ मौजूद हैं और जिनका नाम है उमर फारूक सो अस्सलाम वालेकुम
Maya, can you hear me?
कैसे हैं आप
Hello, Maya.
The way
सॉरी
hello functions,
Why?
I can hear you perfectly.
Why?
Those
Why do you
माइक
think
जरा अगर
hello
आप करीब कर
remain
लेंगे ना अपने
so
मुंह को तो
powerful?
जरा सही आवाज आएगी
greetings, it sets a baseline for the interaction by acknowledging the other person's presence.
जी
It's that
कैसे हैं आप
universal neutral bridge. Mm-hmm.
माशाल्लाह
It
माशाल्लाह
really
अल्लाह रसूल का
bridges the
सल्लल्लाहु
gap
अलैहि वसल्लम तो जी
Okay.
to
सवालों
get
की तरफ चलें
that away.
तो सबसे पहले
It
आप एक ये
So, this
क्या
is
आप
our
अपने बारे में कोई
AI
इंटरेस्टिंग
session
बात
with
बता
Maya.
सकते हैं आवाज
We
आपकी
will
थोड़ा
meet next Maya AI session. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.